25 years ago, a baby girl was born in North London, and so was a fierce controversy.
Mrs. Kim Cotton was delivered of a healthy baby girl at 7:26 p.m. Both mother and child are well.
Kim Cotton was Britain's first commercial surrogate, paid £6,000 to have a baby for a couple she'd never even met.
20 years ago, I got slaughtered by the press, there's no doubt about it.
Mrs. Cotton was driven away by reporters from the Daily Star, who paid a five-figure sum for her story.
The government has already made it clear that it doesn't like the idea of babies for money. Britain's first commercial surrogate mother could be Britain's last.
Surrogacy's come a long way, it's very acceptable now, and so it should be.
Feel a little bit of pushing now, just passing little...
More couples than ever before cannot conceive. IVF alone can't help all of them. For some, having someone else to carry their baby is the only answer.
That's my bump. My bump. No one else is.
Infertility is now such a major problem in people's lives. 1 in 4 couples will have a problem conceiving, that surrogacy has become more and more as an acceptable treatment for infertility.
Yeah.
It's a big step on from normal IVF, and no one said it was going to be easy.
Are you okay? Thank you so much.
Liverpool is home to 29-year-old Christian Mercer-Jones and her husband, Colin.
I think all I got was buildings, you know.
They are as well.
Christian works in a bank and Colin drives a taxi.
How close was that?
We've been together since I was 17, Colin was 18, so we've been together for about 12 years. Only been married, though, for 3 years.
The first time Colin asked Christian out, she said no, because she thought he had a girlfriend and was being cheeky. But a few weeks later, they met again in a nightclub and have been together ever since. They were married on the beach in Mexico.
You're supposed to have had me on that. Do you remember?
I'm not very good with cameras.
2 years ago, Christian found out she had cancer and underwent radiotherapy and a hysterectomy. But before treatment began, doctors created 4 embryos with her eggs and Colin's sperm. The embryos were frozen, but because her womb was removed, Christian cannot carry them herself.
Hotel room.
Christian's older brother, Andrew, lives near them with his wife, Paula, and their 3 sons. It's a close-knit family.
I've lived in this street since I was 11, and I've known Christian since she was like this high. She was only like 4 or 5 when I met Christian, and then met Andrew when I was like 13, and we've been together ever since.
She's calmed down now. She doesn't like the wind, does she? Why?
Paula and Christian are close friends, but their relationship is about to become even closer. Because Christian cannot carry her embryos, Paula has offered to be a surrogate for her.
I thought, I can still have children, it's just not fair. I've got 3 and it's not fair what she's going through. And then it all just stemmed from there. And I thought, you know, I'm going to really seriously think about it, and I'm going to tell her that if she wants me to, I will have a baby for her.
She doesn't need to go through that again, but obviously...
Just over the moon.
And there's just not words. There is not words.
I told them what I'd like to do for them, and she just broke down. She did, she just broke down. She says, would you do that for me? I'd give her the world. I would.
No.
For the Mercers and Joneses, IVF is a family affair. All 4 will go to the hospital appointments.
3 pints he's had in a matter of 25 minutes.
In the coming weeks, Paula must take high doses of drugs to prepare her womb to carry Christian's embryos. The embryos are at Leeds General Infirmary, a hospital especially licensed to treat surrogates.
The legal arrangements in the UK law for surrogacy are very, very strict. Surrogates can't be paid for being surrogates. They can only have allowable expenses. Clinics can't find surrogates for would-be couples. These have to be entirely private arrangements.
I think when you have family members involved or extremely close friends, there is the need for greater caution, really, because of the dynamics within the family and relationships that will carry on forever.
This is Christian's only hope of a child of her own. But the couples are optimistic as they meet Pauline, the sister in charge of surrogacy.
This particular treatment's not going to have much to do with you two as a couple, so you've done your part already. And we're going to concentrate on yourself. And what we need to do is prepare you medically to receive the embryos and ensure that they can implant safely. We won't know the outcome of the embryos until the day they're thawed, but we do hope that we will get enough to transfer. So from the 4, if they survive, all 4 survive, we'll select the best 2 for transfer on the day, the appropriate day.
So it's only just one chance?
One chance, yes.
There's no chance, is it, that when they all 4 come out that they'd all be bad, is there?
We can't predict it, that's the only thing. We cannot predict beforehand the state of the embryos, and that's the disadvantage of it. There's a possibility, but it's less likely.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The fate of the embryos will be decided in the next few weeks.
Stage 1 over.
Yes, next stage to come.
I'm excited. I really am excited.
See you at the christening.
I have to be positive. So I'm like, oh, right, we'll have to get this room done and get that room done. And I think people on the outside are looking in thinking, oh, my God, if this doesn't work. You know, she's planning the bedroom and everything here.
Oh, my God, no. You're not going on then, Tom. No.
Christian has always wanted children and has a very close relationship with Paula's sons, Thomas and Craig.
She's always been motherly, hasn't she, from when she was so young, and she is with anyone's baby. You know, you see her and she's like, oh, she's so maternal. But she's always brought my boys up like her own.
Yeah, that one's upside down.
For years, I'd said, oh, yeah, I'll have a baby when I'm 21, and then when I'm 25, and then... But I obviously love my job, so I kept holding it back. So when this happened, I personally felt guilty. I felt that I'd taken something away from Colin.
That's a miserable face, though, and I was like that.
I could still gone on probably another few years not having them. Do you know what I mean? But then the minute someone told me, I thought, no, I can't.
Sounds right, isn't it? No. We're set up, we're ready for this.
Right, you ready?
In our success-driven society, not being able to do something as fundamental as have a baby can be an enormous source of stress, not just anxiety, but also causing stress between couples.
Sometimes the pain is so great that life becomes pointless for them, and it's not easy to understand that if you're lucky enough to have your own family.
Today is the start of Paula's treatment. She's given a one-off injection to close down her own hormones.
The side effects that you may experience may be the premenopausal side effects, the hot flushes, mood swings, night sweats.
So not unusual for me.
Nothing unusual.
all the time.
So,
she's given up smoking, so she's in that mode.
Yeah, you're going to be double irritable. Yeah. Not everybody suffers from those side effects, but if you find that you're watching a programme and you suddenly burst into tears over nothing, it's more likely it's to do with the medication.
Just explain
to yes, you just be gentle with it is what I would say. But you know, as long as you understand that, oh well, you know, it's not really her, it's just the medication. Okay. You should be okay. But then she can blame this on anything, really, couldn't she?
Yeah,
just get her own way for a couple of weeks.
The injection stops Paula's own cycle, and she will then take different drugs to build up the lining of her womb, ready to receive Colin and Christian's embryos.
Okay, sharp prick.
1, 2, 3. How good.
Being very brave.
Done. Dusted.
For that.
If Paula doesn't respond to the drugs, it will all be over.
I might go a bit close up now because I'm not feeling too well.
Oh, after me. She's laughing it up now.
You realise my dream, I'll do anything.
She's making that dream come true now.
In the following 2 weeks, Paula's family must live with the side effects they were warned about.
She threw the chicken in the bin.
That was just like a daft thing on a Sunday. I'd gone out and bought a chicken. I said to Paula, what time are we having our dinner? She just turned around and said, what dinner? I bought that like for you to do the dinner. I'm not doing a dinner. She just picked her up, launched it in the bin. Just like mad things.
Andrew's been a rock. He really has. He's been fine. I mean, I've screamed, I've cried, and he's been there. He's just pulled and snapped me right out of it.
She's had good days and bad days and bad days.
Now they face the vital scan. Will it tell them that Paula can carry Christian's embryos? Sue Rosenwasser and her husband Oliver need a surrogate to have a baby. Sue is 48, 11 years older than Oliver. They are research scientists who met 17 years ago doing postgraduate degrees. They have lived abroad a lot and married 3 years ago on an Australian beach at sunset. IVF has not worked for them, and now Sue cannot use her own eggs.
In year 2000, I got pregnant and unfortunately had a miscarriage at 13 weeks. And so the next stage we decided would be IVF. And I went through 2 rounds of IVF and it failed because I don't respond well to any of the drugs.
So we went for an egg donor, and my twin sister's niece had found out that I couldn't get pregnant, and she said she would be quite happy to be an egg donor, which she did, and that didn't work either. So the next step, the only step we could take, was surrogacy.
Now Sue is paying £12,000 in expenses to surrogate Jill Hawkins, who inseminated herself using Oliver's sperm. But in order to fund the surrogacy, Oliver must live 10,000 miles away from Sue, in Japan.
Oliver had to go back to Japan to work because he has a good salary. So in the last 2 years, I've seen him for about 7 months. But we're in contact every day.
I know it's only a question of, time before he does come over here. So I think the pain is worth the wait, and it is such a short time in the life of being a family, I think.
Every weekend, Sue drives 120 miles to Brighton to see her surrogate, Jill. Jill's now 36 weeks pregnant with a baby girl called Alexandra. Oliver's child, but genetically not Sue's.
She gave me the chance of being a mum, having a child, and being a family. So words just aren't enough to show my gratitude towards Jill. So I'll always be there for her, no matter what.
Christian, Colin, Andrew and Paula are in Leeds for a vital scan to see if the drug treatment has made Paula's womb thick enough to receive Christian and Colin's embryos.
You nervous?
Yes, I am, I wasn't the other day, I am now.
My stomach's going now.
Is it? Yeah. You'll be fine. Really, yeah.
If Paula has not responded, she won't be able to be a surrogate for her sister-in-law, and they will be back to square one.
We'll see what effect they're having on the endometrium now.
Okay.
As you can see, we've got the uterus in view here.
Yeah.
And you've got a triple line image just there.
Right, yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
what we like to see.
Okay.
Yeah, I
There,
see
nice
that,
and
yeah.
clear.
Brilliant.
See it?
So everything's looking fine. We can actually start to plan when the transfer is going to be. So well done.
Great. Oh,
Today's
what we
been a-
wanted to hear for so
traumatic
Brilliant.
time. It's just D-Day really, isn't it?
It is.
The environment's ideal.
Is it?
Are you okay? Do you want to sit down?
I'm all right.
Yeah, just take a seat there. Some tissues here.
Thank you.
All right. Everything's gone so well.
Of course it has,
You
yeah.
know, it's gone. It's such a perfect cycle.
You've got the perfect specimen in
Yes.
there. You didn't realise she was that good, did you?
I didn't realise Andrew had such a perfect wife. Oh, I'm perfect in every way.
2 days from now, Christian's 4 embryos will be thawed. It's possible none of them will survive.
Oh, it's going well, isn't it? It is. It's going well. Yeah. All right. Well done. Right.
All they can do is wait and hope.
I think that the issue of genetic identity is actually quite important here, and this is why a full surrogacy, where the couple are the genetic parents of the baby that will be born, is to some extent ethically and psychologically much more straightforward, even though from a scientific and medical point of view it's actually much more complex because it does require the use of IVF.
Brighton. And Sue Rosenwasser has had a long, hot journey to visit the woman who is pregnant with her husband's child.
Hi, Jill. How are you? Oh, you look really well. Thank you. Oh, it's been ages. Seems ages anyway.
Jill Hawkins is 39, single, and despite the fact that she has given birth 5 times, she has no children of her own.
Each week I see you get bigger and bigger.
She seems to have got a lot bigger since last week. I seem to have suddenly expanded.
Wow, you feel solid. Absolutely solid. Wake up, Alexandra.
No, don't wake her up.
No. Oh, she's stirred.
Jill's first surrogate birth was in 1992, and Alexandra will be her 6th baby.
I've just never wanted children. I've been more of an animal person, really. But I just really had to experience pregnancy and childbirth. I really, really had to. There was no way I was going to go through my life without doing it. So, I mean, surrogacy was ideal for me.
Jill's births have all been for couples whom she met through the surrogacy organisation, COTS.
I personally think it's easier to do it with a stranger. Best friends, someone in the family.
Yeah.
It's too close to home. There's too much stress and emotion involved in it, and it's easier to have a stranger to start with and build up a relationship.
I think women who are prepared to act as a surrogate are incredible, actually, in their generosity. And certainly what I've seen, those who were previously unknown to the commissioning couple develop extremely close relationships, both during the treatment and after.
How do you ever repay someone who's done such an enormous thing for you, changing your life? They're carrying a pregnancy for you. They're giving you the gift of a baby. It's priceless. There's no price. And the couple want to do something. They feel so helpless.
By law, Jill can't be paid a fee. But she asks around £12,000 to cover her expenses during a pregnancy.
What I ask for is less than a year's salary.
And you had a really rough time, and Jill
Yeah.
obviously lost quite a bit of time from work, so we helped compensate for that as well.
It's very hard to explain to people, though, about you don't feel you're buying a baby, do you?
No, not at all. If I want to buy a baby, I go to America, pick out a picture from a book, drop off a sperm sample at the clinic, and then they ring us up and let us know when to come and pick up the baby. So if we wanted that, then we'd go to America. This way, we actually wanted to get to know the surrogate and to get to know sort of Jill as a friend. That's my bump. It's my bump. No one else's. I've really come to terms with the fact that I can't carry my own baby. And to me, this is just an extension of egg donor. Come on. I don't see you all week. Jill is donating her egg and donating her womb for me for 10 months. So there's no jealousy at all. You wait till your dad gets home. Oh. She'll probably kick it like crazy in a little while. I will accept Alexandra as my own and not as Jill's.
In Liverpool, Christian and Colin must cope with the stress of waiting to see if their 4 frozen embryos will survive the thaw. They both fear the worst, and it's not an easy thing to discuss.
Are you worried about Christian?
I'm worried about the way she might react. You know, touch wood, if it doesn't happen. Because, really, no one knows how much she wants a child.
If people say, oh, but you've got lovely hair and you've got this and you've got that, doesn't sacrifice nothing. I'd give the whole lot for a child. But if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. It's like, isn't it?
There is a little bit of doubt there, but there's no use me coming out and saying to Chris, is there? I don't think it'll happen, or you just got to get on with it. I think if I was going to say it, I'd say it to someone else, not to her.
I feel like we're not talking as much as we normally do because he's scared to say something to me and I'm scared to say something to him. So just trying to just act as normal as we can, but things aren't normal. I don't feel like I can live life without ever holding a child of my own. I can't do it. But I've got to cope for everybody else. It's hard.
Finally, the day when the embryos are to be thawed has arrived. If none survive, then Christian's only chance of having her own child has gone forever.
My stomach is just turning. I've said to Andrew when I got up this morning, you don't realise how important today is. It's just a thing that we just didn't even think about, that if the embryos, once you take them out that freezer today, if they've survived. And when they said it to us at the hospital on Tuesday, Christian's face just dropped, mine dropped, because it was something we just didn't think about. But I've been looking at the clock all day, it's not going any faster, and I feel sick in the stomach, proper sick. I just hope that they've saved at least one. So, fingers crossed.
I've just been like a nervous wreck, but I chose to come to work because I thought it'd help me get over, my nerves better. But I've been absolutely terrible, especially overnight, and I get in overnight and sit on the couch and I'm shaky and everything. I've been terrible. But then today, I feel a bit better today.
I'm usually quite calm, to be honest with you, but then I started to get a little bit nervous, not really sleeping, but, up and down sort of thing. Just wanting the next day to come so quick. And, but it's like something I've never experienced before,
At last, Paula gets a call.
Is that you, Chris? Hang on a minute, love. Paula? Christian. Hello? Are you all right? Oh, yeah. OK. It will be a little fighter. One's better than none, isn't it? Oh, we'll be fine.
Only one of the 4 embryos has survived. Usually, the hospital transfers 2 embryos, so Paula's chances of getting pregnant for Christian have just halved.
All right, Christian. I'll phone you later. OK, bye, bye.
Right?
Yeah, she sounds fine,
Is she?
Yeah, she's fine.
It's saying a little fighter.
Yeah, she said it'll be a little fighter. No, it only takes one.
It only needs one. One's better than none, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it'll be the strongest one
We
anyway.
hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll work, won't it, is it? I haven't slept all night worrying.
Be all right. Right, so what happened on the phone call before?
They only got 1 egg. So what they'll do now is tomorrow at 1 o'clock, they'll put the embryos in, and then I've got to wait them 2 weeks.
Yeah,
then.
but look at it like you've got one chance. I just felt like grabbing a hold of you and kissing you.
But you can't because you've got a cold sore. You can't because you might spread that cold sore onto me.
You've already got one anyway. It doesn't make any difference. Stressed out to death.
So we've just got to look forward now, haven't we?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And that's it. That's the rest of your life. Done.
And we'll be fine.
Hello.
Right, yes.
Most people that know Colin and know what we've been going through are very worried for Colin because he won't have it, that it won't work. So if it doesn't work, I'd hate to think how he's going to cope. Because he's not ready. He hasn't set himself ready for that. At least I do think if it doesn't work or have you, but Colin doesn't. Me and Colin, I'd say we've got a really strong kind of couple. And we've got through a lot of things, you know, obviously when I was sick and things like that. But this is your life, and this is your life in someone else's hands. And you've got no control over it whatsoever. And it's like you're sitting back and watching it happen. And there's not a thing you can do.
But will the single embryo survive the night? Christian Mercer-Jones has only 1 embryo left out of her 4, but will it be good enough quality for transfer to her sister-in-law Paula's womb?
Hello?
Oh, hi there. Is Christian there at all?
Yeah, who's speaking, please?
It's Rachel from the IVF unit.
Okay, just give us a second. Rachel from the IVF unit.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, is that Christian?
It is, hiya.
Hi there, how are you this
I'm
morning?
fine, thank you.
Good. Well, I've got some really good news for you this morning, Christian.
What?
The embryo's divided and it's looking very, very good indeed.
Thank you.
It's divided to 2 cells and it's a grade 1.5, which is very good quality.
Is it?
Okay.
Tell us. Oh, Rachel, thank you.
Okay, so we'll see you a bit later on.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
What?
It's absolutely excellent. It's divided into 2 cells. And it's a grade 1.5. Richard, I've got great news. She said the egg is absolutely fantastic.
And your face went down then, I thought.
I thought they were going to say something bad. I did. I just was like, you just don't know what to expect.
Hello,
It's just
million tears.
It's taking. See, I can't. I'm just living. Grade 1, 1.5. Should I've got excellent news.
There you go. Even though they rang us yesterday and just said there was 1 left, it could have perished overnight.
Yeah. Is that what you were thinking?
Well, it could have. It could have, yeah.
Oh, Jeanette said
It could
that.
have. It couldn't have. It mightn't have gone on to what it's gone on to now.
And the percent rate of that was around 70-80%
So, you know,
of that
once-
surviving, do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh, I didn't know.
So
I know you
once-
never, that's why I never did episodes.
So.
I just thought that was it.
No.
Be happy. About living
I'm
in the
there, I use it all sitting there, dead joyful, I'm there crying.
Buoyed up by the news, they have to make an immediate 70-mile trip to the Leeds General Infirmary to have the embryo put into Paula's womb.
Discussing Colin coming through. All right, we'll get you ready. Won't be long.
The 4 microscopic cells that make up the embryo are Christian's only hope for a baby.
That's the embryo being deposited into the womb. We just leave it for a minute to settle down. Okay, good. Right, so it's safely inside.
Thank you.
How you
Thank
feeling?
you.
Fine,
Thanks.
fine,
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
You all right?
We need to make it.
Now it is up to nature. The hospital can do nothing more.
Just a second.
See, it's in now, isn't it? Hi. Right in. Yeah. Right in the middle. You okay?
Yep.
All right, just take yourself there. Back to you in a few minutes, all right?
You okay? Thank you so much. Hold on. It's fine.
Here's your picture.
It's just so sad to see her going through it for such a young girl. And she's so close to us, and I don't like to see, when she is upset. And I do think about her all the time. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we give her this one go, because we have only got one go.
The gift of life.
Isn't it? Oh. Yeah. Put them all together.
Surrogacy, like other fertility treatments, often doesn't work. And we mustn't forget those who offer to act as surrogates who then don't get pregnant. They often feel a lot of guilt themselves, even though they have nothing to be guilty for.
The stakes are far higher with surrogacy. There is an emotional ramping up, which is already present in IVF to a considerable degree, but is worse in surrogacy.
I can't believe how busy he is.
In Brighton, the date of Alexandra's birth has now been fixed. Jill will be induced in 3 weeks' time.
Well, plenty of deck chairs still empty.
Sue's husband, Oliver, who is working in Japan, has booked a flight home.
Those lovely flowers. He rings up every day and he starts giving me a sort of a day-to-day plan of what's going to happen when Alexandra's born and, how we're going to educate her, and he's got it well organised. But I know it's just going to fall away, isn't it?
Yeah, once the baby arrives, that's all going to go out the window, I'm telling you.
But he's really, he's gearing himself up for it all. He's very excited.
Shortcake's very, very sugary.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's everywhere.
Sue and Oliver will both be there when Alexandra is born.
Because I saw that programme, that woman, she was giving birth. Oh, the noises she was making, she sounded like she was in agony.
What is agony?
Yeah, but you said so, but it just pops out.
Yeah, but it's agony first.
Oh, OK. Because I think, oh, my God.
What do you think I just did? Go...
No, but I just thought, because you said, oh, no, it's really easy for me. And I just said, oh, poor Jill. Mind you, it can't be as bad as your headache, is it? Is it worse than your headaches?
It's different.
Is it different?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like someone squeezing your insides.
But we'll be there holding your hands.
I think I'm going to be in shock. It's just my whole way of life is just going to change. And it's quite frightening but exciting all at the same time, I think.
Sue has no anxieties about Jill changing her mind.
She actually worries more about the couple not taking the baby and her being left with the baby. I think that would be her biggest fear. But no, the fact that she's done it before means that we don't have to have this doubt at the back of our mind that there's a possibility she may want to keep Alexandra after giving birth.
The shock can be to look down at that child, it looks like one of your own babies. And that's the scary part, is can you really part with this child? But if you have a wonderful relationship with your couple, there's no way the thought would even cross your mind to keep the child, because you'd see the devastation that your reneging on your decision would do for your couple.
In Liverpool, the strain of the 2-week wait for the pregnancy test is showing on everyone.
I ring them up about 8 o'clock in the morning with a progress report.
If Andrew doesn't ring by 8:05, Colin's already rang to see if everything's OK, has anything changed, has anything happened, and do I feel OK, and do I feel any different? And then you'll tell him that, and then half an hour later the phone will ring again. You're all right? I'm like, yes, fine. No, same as half an hour ago, but he's just worried, isn't he? Everywhere I go, the phone rings. Doesn't matter where I am, the phone rings. You're all right? Still everything OK? It's fine. And then he calls in, doesn't he, every day, 3-4 times a day.
He's been having a tea as well.
Oh yeah, tea every night.
We've been very lucky. We have. To find someone like Paula,
She's been perfect every step of the way.
Extremely lucky because, she's got 3 kids and it hasn't been easy for her neither. But, she's got on with it. And I think tomorrow when we go and they tell us it's worked, it'll be a miracle. I think it really will be
the
a
last
miracle.
little piece, won't it?
Yeah, of course it will, yeah.
The following morning, 12 days after the embryo was put in Paula's womb, it is finally time for the pregnancy test. And all 4 set off for Leeds.
everything I should do.
Looking after yourself, resting when you
Oh
should.
yeah, oh yeah, I've been getting plenty of that.
Good.
Home help.
And Colin's her shadow.
Yeah.
Got it. So it's just a little bit of waiting game. This is the intro,
Time will
really,
tell,
isn't
yeah.
it? With the
Yeah, of
preparation
course.
and everything.
It's all gone well so far, hasn't it?
Well, that's it. No, we've had a good treatment cycle completely. Everything's gone nicely to plan. Now we just
They will be asked to ring the hospital this afternoon to find out if Paula is pregnant with Christian and Colin's baby.
3 o'clock this afternoon.
Thank you, Pauline.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you,
Smile,
Pauline.
all right.
Thank you very
Bye.
much indeed.
In Brighton, Jill has come into hospital to be induced.
Today's the day we become a family. And we can have our first Christmas as a family.
A jet-lagged Oliver Rosenwasser has flown in from Japan to be at the birth.
Come on. Mummy's here. Come on, Alexandra. 158 beats per minute.
Where?
Daddy's here too. 160, she's going for it. Yeah. Your parents are waiting for you.
It's the first girl for about 60 years in my family. So everybody's very excited to see the first girl. And we hope to be seeing everybody soon, have a family gathering.
Jill has had no pain relief and labour is progressing rapidly.
Wish I could take all Jill's pain away, you know. I'd gladly share this pain with her. Oh! Just do this very gently. And you've got quite nice fingers, so just like I'm doing here, just gently massage.
For me, as a man, it was very easy because another woman was taking the risk of the pregnancy, not my wife. So I have very little worries or little problems to use a surrogate.
In Liverpool, the family has gathered to wait for 3 o'clock when they have been told to ring for the result.
Sure, time stops, doesn't it? And you want it to go faster.
Life stops.
Yeah. Colin's legs are going.
The longest day.
If the result is negative, it is the end of the road for Christian.
Shut up for like months and months and months, and now we've got nothing to say.
4 minutes to go.
Okay. Hope you don't say you got 5 minutes.
We've waited this long. If you want minutes, it's not going to
It's
make
got
much
to be the
difference,
worst
is it?
experience I've ever gone through in the whole of my life. But
Come on. It's ringing.
Hello. Hi, it's Pauline here. Who's this? Colin, hi. I'm afraid I haven't got good news for you at the moment.
Why's that? So you've got no idea when it's going to be fixed? Oh, no. Okay, no problem. Bye. The machine's broke. They haven't been able to process it yet. Well, it wasn't bad news, was it? I thought it was bad news
I thought so.
when she said that. Unfortunately, it.
I had that, that's why I went. So if I wait a bit longer to see if we can do
Should we go and have a
the
pint then?
Yeah.
While we're waiting, I can't sit here.
Talk about dragging it out.
How mad's that?
test. So you might
How mad is that?
As they wait for news, Jill is about to give birth to Sue's daughter.
Already. You've got to have a look at the baby. She comes.
Oh, she's lovely. okay. Yes, you're fine. Hello. Well done. Oh, she is so lovely. Well done. Oh. Okay, just drop it. I've got it. Thank you so much. She is beautiful. Absolutely fine. You are fantastic, Jill. Absolutely superb. Tuck her head in. There you go. Still yours. Still on. I'll take this in a minute. Oh, she's lovely. Oh, thank God for that. Oh, excellent. Oh, Jill, thank you so much. Beautiful. Hello. Oh, how are you feeling, excellent?
In Leeds, Pauline finally has the result of the pregnancy test 2 hours late.
Hello? Yeah? Hi, Pauline. Hi. Yes. Right. Is it? Okay. Yeah, fine.
I can tell. No, nothing. No. Don't.
She's on the phone.
Hello. Hi, Colin.
Hello.
Hi, I'm sorry. No problem. It's to say, it's said to Paul, it's not good news. It's come back as a negative.
All right.
All right. Yeah, no problem, yeah. See you, Evan, you've done. Thanks anyway. All right. See you.
Come on.
No problem. Thanks.
It's
All right.
not your fault. Not your fault. It's okay. It's okay. It's not your fault, stupid. Give Paul a call.
It's all right, no problem.
It's okay.
That was hard. You could just hear, and then she just went quiet. Broken down into tears.
Just zoom out a minute.
Two days after Alexandra was born, Sue and Oliver are leaving Jill to return to their home in Cambridge.
There are obviously times when you're going through the process, it's difficult and you have to take a deep breath and find some more energy. But 10 years down the road, you have a beautiful daughter and you sort of, the money won't even come into your thought anymore, and then the stress of separation will be forgotten then as well. So it was definitely worth it, and I'll do it all over again.
Being a surrogate is very addictive because it's such a wow factor and a feel-good factor, and it gives you a sense of power because you have changed two people's lives forever.
There you dribbler, you. Huh? Huh?
They're absolutely besotted with their daughter, and I can't blame them because she's beautiful. And they just can't stop smiling.
I just feel she's mine. The moment she was given birth, I just felt that she was mine from the word go. So it has been easy. I haven't had any problems bonding with her.
Sue, Oliver and Alexandra plan to return to Japan to live. They hope to have a second surrogate baby in the next year. Eight months on, Christian and Colin are trying to adopt. They turn down Paula's offer to carry a child conceived with her own eggs and Colin's sperm. They are still trying to come to terms with their loss.
I really thought it was going to happen. I did have that little bit of niggling doubt, but I didn't let it sort of take over. And when they rang, I don't know, my heart just fell out, to be honest.
It has also been difficult for Paula and Andrew.
We were all too optimistic. Oh, it's going to work, it's going to work, it's going to work. But never, and we didn't expect it. And I just seen that day what Christian was like.
I don't know, I felt as though I had done something wrong. I blamed myself for it for a few days. But then, as we say, when we got to speaking to Christian, you know, she said, it's not your fault and blah, we all sort of got together. But that was the way I felt. I felt as though I'd let them down.
I'll always, always think I'll never, ever know what my own child would look like. I'll never, ever know that now. And that is the only thing that ever bugs me. It's not that I could maybe never have a child or anything, because you can. You know, you can. But that you'll never, ever know what your own will look like. And that's the painful thing.
We will get a baby or we will get a toddler. It's not going to be our own, but you know, we know that. We know, and you know, we can give love to another child, and then before you know it, it is your own, isn't it? And all this is done and dusted.